Morning, everyone. Here we are and ready to roll for our redevelopment. And the redevelopment agency meeting of February 5th, 2014 is called to order. The meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV, cable channel 2 under closed caption for hearing impaired viewers. Please note some customers of Cox Communication who do not have a cable box may view this meeting on digital channel 89.5. The redevelopment agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web on the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and also the following Monday at 1 p.m. The building has been protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the back of the chambers out to the mezzanine. Proceed out the double doors to the terrace and down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or a fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewiston First, and employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available speaker cards, which you may complete and submit to our city clerk up front here. Cards are available online in the clerk's office or at the rear of the chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under the public comment portion of the agenda, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone is present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please see our city clerk up front. If you parked in the parking garage across the street and did not receive a validation ticket as you entered chambers, please exit to your right and then see the security personnel at the entrance. We will move on to agenda item 3. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card or wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. We will set the time at 1 minute. Seeing and hearing none, we will move on to agenda item 4. Report for possible action regarding the development projects currently under contract or negotiation, other projects, and to provide an overview of programs and initiatives. These are wards 1, 3, and 5. Councilwoman Tarkanian and Councilman Coffin and Barlow. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor, members of Council and Redevelopment Agency Board. For the record, Bill Arndt, Director, Economic and Urban Development. I last gave you an overview of kind of the A to Z rundown of all the projects we're working on in the Redevelopment Agency back in November of last year. I thought it important to give you a quick update on some of the major projects and initiatives that we're working on in the redevelopment area. This is not an all-encompassing list. There are a lot of projects that we're working on that are not in this slideshow presentation, but I wanted to kind of touch on the major projects to give you an update on key projects and where we're at. And with that, the first project, as you know, we approved the extension for our exclusivity agreement with the Cordish companies for the Las Vegas Arena at Symphony Park. We are meeting with the Cordish companies later today and meeting actually twice per week over the next 4 months to wrap up all the items we need to wrap up, including finalizing the pro forma for the arena, the live district, some third-party feasibility studies, and then trying to frame up a development agreement. Of course, all those things are contingent on coming back to you within the next 4 months prior to June 1st to have you weigh in on the final package. So we are diligently working on that. And there you see in the overhead a rendering of the arena, an 18,000-seat arena, which is proposed for Symphony Park. The next project, staying in Symphony Park, is the Charlie Palmer Hotel. It's been a little while since you got an update on this, and this is kind of a preview of an item that we anticipate bringing forward in 2 weeks. We've been working very closely with Rick Kaufman of City Core Development, who's the proposed developer for a non-gaming hotel in Symphony Park, 400-key hotel in the heart of Symphony Park on Parcel G, which is immediately across the park from the Smith Center for the Performing Arts. The developer is proposing to partner with Charlie Palmer, who's a local executive chef. You see there a rendering of the hotel. The good news is the market has improved enough to where the developer is willing to commit to a specific time frame as far as closing escrow on the purchase of the property and starting the construction in a phased approach. We're going to bring back the details of that approach again 2 weeks from now, but we are excited to see some progress on that project. The next project, the CIM Post Office Block Development. This is an exciting new retail project in what CIM, along with the Downtown Grand, are branding Downtown Third, really a new district, retail shopping district and entertainment district on the northern edge of the gaming district. This is the site wrapping the Las Vegas Museum of Organized Crime and Law Enforcement. And so you see there the museum in the foreground, you see the retail wrapping it. The developer is moving forward with an attempt to start construction and in later this year, late fall. We are working through a couple of issues. One is the developer has interest in buying the Ogden Garage, also known as the Lady Luck Garage, which is the parking garage at the corner of 4th Street and Ogden. The developer has a fixed price purchase option tied to an appraisal process. We're working through the details of that and should have an update for you shortly on that. The next project, Citra, is a developer out of Southern California that's proposing to do a mixed-use project in Symphony Park, both assisted living, skilled nursing facility, as well as medical office. This is on Parcel L in Symphony Park, so think between the Smith Center and the rail line. This is not the final architecture, but really a massing diagram of showing you what the scale of the building is going to be. We've asked the developer during the feasibility period to be mindful of the wonderful architecture we have at the Smith Center for the Performing Arts. And so they're going to be coming up with a final design that's reflective of the architecture around this property, including the Smith Center. But this is one of the key projects that we're looking at.
Excuse me, Mr. Arndt, 1 second. Councilman Ross had a question.
Thank you, Mr. Arndt. I'm sorry to interrupt you as you're going, but I wanted to catch you before you kept going. Just back to the CIM parcel around the Mob Museum. Have we got any dates, start dates on that at all? Any kind of ideas that the developer's kind of given you?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a start date between October and November of this year.
Really?
So they're moving forward. As you know, they've gone through entitlements. There are some obligations in our development agreement, so we're working against that. But they're looking to close. They actually have a ground lease with us with an option to purchase. So buying the property isn't an issue. It's really just lining up all the retail tenants. It is over 100,000 square feet. Part of it is meeting space, part of it's retail.
Thank you.
But as we get a little bit closer to the date, we should know probably by mid-late summer if they're going to stay on track and hit those
Okay, and I
dates.
think it would be helpful certainly for me as a council member and maybe my colleagues that as you present these projects, some kind of idea when they may get started. And I know it's hard for you to predict that, but even some kind of an idea is better than nothing, I would think. So thank
Certainly.
you. Please forgive me again, Mayor, for interrupting him.
No, okay. Please continue. Thank you. Good point.
So again, Citra, they have until November this year for their feasibility. And then after that, they have about another year to actually get to a point of starting construction. So it's really kind of more or less an 18-month window to start construction on this project. So we're working diligently with the Citra team as they firm up their plans. Cleveland Clinic, this is one of those things that we really believe is a game changer for not only Symphony Park and downtown Las Vegas, but also for the Las Vegas Valley. As you know, Cleveland Clinic operates the Lou Rufo Center for Brain Health, which is a 67,000 square foot campus for studying neurodegenerative diseases, as well as providing care for patients that are suffering from those diseases. The building is essentially at peak capacity. So what they're looking at now is what's the next chapter in their providing medical care in Southern Nevada. And their model is a little bit unique in two ways. One is all their physicians are salaried, so they don't pay by the visit, so to speak, that their physicians are salaried, and the idea is that they really have a hyper focus on patient outcomes. The second thing is the way they build their campuses is they really focus on a single part of the body in each building. So they have these specialty institutes, as I know that Mayor Goodman and I and Betsy Fretwell toured the campus in Cleveland. And so what that means is in order to build the next building, they really have to look at what is the next service area that they want to get into, how can they make it work as far as the operations on the patient care side. We are continuing discussions with Cleveland Clinic. As far as hard dates, they have until December of this year to give us an election notice, meaning they're ready to move forward and buy a parcel and move forward. And then they have until the end of 2016 to start construction on those first phase. So still a little ways out, but we really think this is a game changer for not just Sepulveda Park, but for downtown in Las Vegas. Their campus plan included building out as much as 1 million square feet of space, which, given at that scale, could house 2,000 physicians. So really a big project, a complicated one, and one we continue to work very closely with Cleveland Clinic on.
Mr. Art, this morning and yesterday was in the paper and on the media about the $600,000 contribution they've had for further study of the brain and pugilistic sports. Any comment from them as to whether they will try to squeeze that into what exists or expand?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Mayor. I think squeeze is the right word. They really are operating at full capacity. To give you an example, they do physical therapy on site for patients now. They're looking to actually move that off campus to free up space for their other services that they provide. But it's not the services that they provide for the neurodegenerative diseases. It's not enough to kind of push them into building a new building. They really have that laser focus on each building. Each institute focuses on a specific issue. So they're going to make it work. Over time, they may build a second building on that single parcel. If you can picture where the parking lot is for the building itself, just north of the building, over time, their long-term plans show building a second building to help with patients. So over time, we'd expect them to build a building, but it's not going to be in the immediate future.
Could I make a recommendation that we go after more dialogue with them right now to make sure that if in fact, because I know they have moved out some of their administrative staff, that we go out easily, even in the temporary sense, to keep them in the medical district, the Las Vegas Medical District, to try and find them property where they could temporarily occupy with whatever piece it would be, but really highly recommend before anybody else goes out in the county and tries to move them out there, that we really move to keep them in our medical district.
Thank you, Mayor. Absolutely. We're doing that already, that physical therapy operation. They're not looking for a lot of space, just a few thousand square feet, but we're working with them to identify space in the Las Vegas Medical District. We believe in it, and so I believe they're committed to that they want to stay in the area. Their concentration of services really is in that area, so that's something we're committed to.
Excellent. Thank you.
The next project is an office development site at the corner of 4th and Clark. We had been in agreement with a developer, Executive Home Builders, EHB, developer of Tivoli Village and other projects around the Las Vegas Valley. A wonderful developer, great track record. We have not reached agreement on terms. We own the property that's highlighted there in red, probably a little bit difficult to see, but if you look at that block, city block that's highlighted there, it's the block to the top left or to the northwestern part of the site, And then the northeastern part of the site, that other corner, is a second piece that we own. The other pieces are privately owned. We haven't reached agreement yet. We continue to have good faith discussions with the developer, but our exclusivity agreement has expired, so we're not technically in agreement with this developer, but we have had a lot of positive dialogue and made some headway on what it might take to get a major office building developed on this site. So we're going to continue those discussions in good faith and see where we end up at the end of the day. Federal Justice Tower, this is one where the developer, Steve Biagiotti, was before you quite recently. This shows the building where, after it was topped out, they've finalized the plans with the federal government and the General Services Administration, which is the agency responsible for real estate for the federal government, to decide on what the interior of the building is going to look like. And now that they've finalized those plans, they're coming back through our Development Services Center. They're committed to finishing this building by November of this year. It'll be one of the larger projects, not only in downtown, but in the entire valley. And so we're appreciative of Steve Biagiotti and his team's efforts to finish the project. Forest City, this building should look familiar. We're in it right now. But there you see a night photo of our fine City Hall. What we haven't talked to you about recently is this is really part of a larger effort by Forest City, one of our major strategic partners. And I think what really is, if you think about what is the hallmarks of the redevelopment agency for the City of Las Vegas, I would put forth that one of the hallmarks is we found large institutional partners with some stickiness. They've weathered the storm, they've weathered the recession, they've made large investments in our downtown, and when they could have packed up and left and sold their property, they haven't. They've stayed. And so Forest City has been a really important partner now for going on almost 7 years. They finished the City Hall. They own 4 additional city blocks, including where the Regional Transportation Center is, the Bonneville Transportation Center. They own the blocks in between. We've been in active discussions with Forest City on developing the blocks. Immediately south of City Hall, we're looking at a variety of options, including new corporate office, new space for our justice system, particularly the municipal courts. So we have a very healthy dialogue, but again, the vision for Forest City is that they're going to build substantial office adjacent to City Hall. 1 million square feet of office is what they've shown the physical site could support. Whether or not we actually bring that to market, time will tell, but they have a major investment in downtown Las Vegas. They own their land, they're here to stay, and we continue to work with them to realize this next project. Mayor?
Could you make just some comment about how the streets that are constantly under renovation or whatever is happening in the area interface with these projects right there, please?
Certainly. Really, there are 2 streetscape projects that are really important. One, of course, is, you can see it, it's underway, First Street, where we're redoing the entire street and the streetscape, the sidewalks, the landscaping. There are parts of First Street that did not even have sidewalks. So really making that more pedestrian-oriented. And then on the other side of the campus here for Forest City and for City Hall on Main Street, there's a major project underway that now, thanks to the fuel tax being passed, is fully funded, the Main Commerce Couplet Project, where we're going to take Main Street and Commerce and make it a one-way couplet, just like the city has done with Bonneville and Clark. So essentially, the bottom line of all that is Main and Commerce, much better vehicular access, easier to get in and out. First Street, much better pedestrian access and a better pedestrian environment. Why that's important is it makes all these larger projects work. Having that infrastructure in the ground, having it done the right way, and the timing of it is really important to keeping projects like this on track. So, and the third thing and the final thing, a smaller thing, is we're working with Forest City to do surface parking on the lot immediately south of City Hall, so that'll provide an additional outlet for folks that are looking to park, not only to come down to City Hall, but also the Regional Justice Center and other areas of downtown. So it's more than a facelift. It's really putting the infrastructure in the ground we need to make these projects work.
And all of these have been coordinated with Project Neon, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Historic West Side School, this is a significant undertaking. It's a $12 million renovation of one of our more important historic assets in the entire Las Vegas Valley, the West Side School at D Street in Washington. This is an artist's rendering of what it will look like when we're complete. We're still working on financing for the project, which will include a combination of Centennial funds as well as New Market tax credit funds. We're also looking at possible infusion of CIP, capital improvement project funds, for next fiscal year to get us over the final finish line. We're almost there on the financing, and we believe that last infusion of capital will help make it work. We don't have a hard date yet for construction, but we'd like to be in construction on that first phase within the next 9 to 12 months.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, please.
how many square feet is involved in that school?
That's a good question. I'm doing this from memory, so forgive me if I'm a little bit off, but I believe that the West Side School itself is right around the 15,000 to 18,000 square feet. One of the reasons why it's so expensive is we're going to do it to historic standards. We're also leaving the radio station there intact, so we have to temporarily move them to renovate some of the space that they're going to be in permanently. But it's roughly the same size, just to give you an idea, roughly the same size as the Fifth Street School, a little bit smaller actually.
Thank you.
The Las Vegas Medical District, this is one where it's not a physical building that you see on the slide, but really is one of our most important initiatives. We have a stakeholder committee that Councilwoman Tarkanian has been very gracious with her time in helping kind of plant the seeds and get this going. And we now have a large committee of both public and private stakeholders in the area. Two takeaways here. One is we're expanding the footprint of the district. You see the area in green, which is the area that the city had mapped for our medical district. And then you see the area in blue, maybe a little bit hard to see on the overhead, but that is the area where we're looking to add to the medical district. And we really want this to be the epicenter of not only medicine and healthcare and academic healthcare for the city of Las Vegas, but also for the entire Las Vegas Valley. We're working very closely with UMC, with the Valley Health System, and also with the university system with their assets, such as the dental school, which is one of those hidden gems. It's one of the best, physically one of the best dental schools in the country as far as the amenities and the services that they provide for students going into dentistry. So building on that, looking at the future expansion of medicine and what's coming down the road with the state with supporting an allopathic medical school, we believe that everything's coming together at the right time. So we're looking for great things to come in the medical district. Premium Outlet Mall, this is one of the more important projects in downtown. It shows that there is a market for high-end retail in downtown Las Vegas. We supported this project with a tax increment financing rebate several years back, where they get a partial rebate or revenue share of new property taxes from the new development, the tax increment. It comes into the agency. This is their phase 3, which is about 130,000 square feet. It's under construction. This is one of the most successful malls, not only in downtown, but the entire valley, and actually Simon's portfolio. Simon is the big retail REIT that owns the property. If you read their financial statements, this mall grosses over $500 per square foot. That makes it one of the best performing shopping destinations, not only in Las Vegas, but in the country. So we think this is really indicative of how important retail is and how it can be successful in downtown.
Dates on those, please.
They're in construction now. We believe that they want to be finished within the next 10 to 12 months.
And the extra parking, is that completed? Because I know that was their first phase.
That is part of the plan there. You can see, I'm not sure how well it shows up, but because it's in gray, it's not in color, but the parking expansion, which is really between the two garage, It's actually the bottom left. That parking is some additional parking. They're doing some additional roughly 400 spaces, which is in the bottom left. So that gray that's shaded light, that is part of the Phase 3 expansion.
Thank you.
The art museum in the Arts District, we're continuing dialogue to try to come up with a framework memorandum of understanding to see where and how the city could support this project. One of the areas where we're looking at is the city and the Regional Transportation Commission. After we finish the bus rapid transit project, there's some excess right-of-way that was acquired but not needed to finalize that project that runs along the perimeter of that down near Casino Center in Charleston. So that's part of the discussion. Parking is going to be important for this project, so that's also part of the discussion. And we're working very closely with the Modern team. We're going to try to come back with a memorandum of understanding. As far as dates for starting construction, it's too early to tell. I really can't forecast a date. But again, this is one of those legacy projects that is really important for downtown and for our community. We're going to continue to push forward until we get it right.
Councilman Coffin, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Is this the same as the Luminous project?
The Modern is the name they've given to the Modern Art Museum, and then they have the Center for Creativity, and then that's Luminous Park is kind of the overall brand. So it's the Modern at Luminous Park. Correct.
We have as item 25 on our agenda in the consent, Public Works, an extension of time for project completion, I guess, to the end of this year. That's regarding a contract between us and the RTC. So while we may not be discussing it unless somebody asks for it, in fact, why don't you cover that right now? In essence, have you said it? In essence, because we're going to have to approve that today.
I really kind of need to let Jorge Cervantes cover that because that gets into the technical side of
Well, he's not here right now.
finishing out the project. That land helps the project, but it's not a make or break. So we're basically waiting on the city's Public Works team and RTC to finalize that. But that's not a make or break for the Modern project. So I can't really speak to that. I apologize, Councilman. But during the break, I'll reach out to Jorge and see if we can get an answer for you during the break.
Okay, thank you.
Finally, this is one that I know everybody was excited about last fall. You see there the grand opening of Zappos and its headquarters campus. What I wanted to briefly mention is it doesn't stop there. There are 1,500 employees that have taken occupancy there. You see most of them there in the picture. But we're also working on the expansion of their headquarters. They're bursting at the seams. In addition to their full-time employees, they have independent contractors. They're buyers, for instance, that buy the merchandise. You add that up, that's an impact of close to 2,000 people. They can't all fit on that campus. They do have some lease space elsewhere in downtown. They have a purchase option on the lands on the east side of Las Vegas Boulevard, and we're working with their team now and having discussions about trying to frame out a schedule for their next campus building. And this is really important to keep them, keep their campus growing, keep their footprint all together in downtown. And it's really one of our big strategies with redevelopment is to the extent that we can have these corporate headquarters in downtown. Zappos is really important. We're working on a couple of others that are too premature to mention today, but getting corporate headquarters in downtown is really important. So they have a purchase option. It's a 10-year window. I don't know when it's going to pop, when it's going to start construction, but we really believe it would be on the front end of that 10-year window, really within the next 2 to 3 years to where they'd be forced to start construction on the next phase just because of their growth and not fitting in the existing campus. So that concludes my presentation. I thank you for your time and be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we need a motion to accept the report? Yes, somebody would, Councilman, please, Mayor Pro Tem.
Move to accept the report.
There's a motion, please vote, and please post. That was great. It's exciting. Lots happening. And Councilman Barlow's excused from the RDA meeting. Thank you. Motion carries. We will move on to Agenda Item 5, RA 4-2014, discussion for possible action regarding a resolution finding the project proposed by the Quick Start Program, QSP, between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency, RDA, and Lonnie Watson, property owner, QSP participant, located at 1100 North Martin Luther King Boulevard, to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and authorizing the execution of the QSP agreement by the RDA. This is in Ward 5 with Councilman Barlow. This item is related to Council Item 30 R2-2014. Mr. Arndt.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. This item is part of our Quick Start program. I'm delighted to introduce to my right Lonnie Walston, who is the property owner, and I'd like to thank Lonnie for his investment in the city and for expanding his footprint in Las Vegas and West Las Vegas. This building is located on Martin Luther King Boulevard,
Yes.
and it's located north of Washington.
North, yes.
And the property owner, Mr. Walston, is adding approximately 2,000 square feet to his existing building. The existing building has 6 tenants. There's a lot involved with this expansion, which includes upgrade of water and sewer lines, fire code compliance, and this is really what Quick Start program is all about, where there's a lot of money invested in bringing a property up to code and putting new infrastructure in place to support those buildings. Mr. Walston's investment of $200,000 qualifies him for a matching grant through the Quick Start program of $50,000. If I could get assistance from the gentleman in the back, I do have a site map on the overhead so you can see where this property is located. With that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Walston. He can talk about his building and the businesses there and what he's doing with the expansion.
Thank you, Mr. Arndt. We welcome you, and if you'll please state your name for our record and the clerk. Thank you.
Yes, Mayor, I'm Lonnie Walston. The address is my address is 1935 Avenue. And what I'm trying to do here, as I said, that I'm trying to add on to the existing building, put 2 more storefronts up there. And I think it'll be good for the neighborhood. At least it will put more jobs in the neighborhood. And I just really appreciate that you all helping me with this if you can.
Thank you. We're really excited. Are we not able to put it up?
Mayor, we have one here, and I pulled it out of my file. That,
Oh, there it is. Great.
Jace could
Thank
put it
you.
on the table for them, and then it'd be done.
It's there now. Thank you. So can you point to where the expansion will go on this, on the overhead? You have it right there next to you, Mr. Arndt? Yeah.
You can see the existing retail in the foreground, and then Lonnie can point out where the expansion.
Yes, the building. Well, the extension would be north of the existing building, next going towards Madison Street there. That's where the extension would be. And it would just be 2 more storefronts going that way, north of Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Wonderful. Any questions, comments from council? Well, Mr. Arndt, recommendation, of course?
Thank you, Mayor. Staff recommends approval. And again, I'd like to thank Mr. Walston for his investment and continuing to try to support business in the community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem?
I will move for approval.
Thank you. This motion, please vote and please post.
I thank the staff for working with me. Appreciate it very much. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We wish you the best, and that motion carries. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mr. Arndt. Okay, this is citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the redevelopment agency. No subject may be acted upon by the redevelopment agency unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Wanted to read real quickly a press.
Name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Andre Haynes, 3675 South Rainbow Boulevard.
Thank you.
Number 107. I'd like to quickly read an announcement about an upcoming event in the city of Las Vegas. This year marks the second occasion in Las Vegas history that celebrity entertainers, pageant queens, high-ranking elected officials, active duty military, veterans, members of the local media, and many more would join together to celebrate Valentine's Day in VIP style. Excuse me, Endeavor Media Group, a Las Vegas-based company specializing in political consulting and public relations, is proud to announce that Veterans in Politics International will host the second annual Valentine's Ball and Gala on Saturday, February 15, 2014 at the Resort of Mount Charleston. This year's host is retired Colonel Thomas Check. The scheduled lineup includes a presentation of colors by the Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard, a musical performance by Chris Phillips from Zoe Bowie, live music by DJ Rain Forever, and a guest pianist, public speaking by Nevada Supreme Court Justice Michael Douglas, and Jim Rogers, owner of over a dozen television stations, including KSNV TV Channel 3, and former Chancellor of Nevada Systems of Higher Education. Guests will be received at 6 p.m. Dinner prices start at $85, and room prices start at $150. For more information, contact Steve Sanson by calling 702-283-8088 or visiting veteransinpolitics.org. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haynes. Anyone else, please come forward. Please state your name.
Kind of new to this, and I'm not sure if this is the right spot or not, but I'll give it a shot. My name's Joel Weber, 8604 Grand Banks Drive. And good morning. My name is Joel Weber, and I'm here to regard the traffic problem that occurs in the school zone by Jacobson Elementary. On the beginning of the school year, my wife was walking our grandson to school, and as he was crossing in the street, and in the crosswalk, a car made a left turn, and if my wife had not grabbed his shirt and pulled him back, the car would have hit him and probably killed him. My wife went to the principal, and who informed her that she was only one person and she couldn't control the traffic. So my wife and I went down and we volunteered. The speeding with people who are speeding, making U-turns, double parking, and jaywalking. So my wife and I, like I said, we volunteered, came out to help, so that her and myself went out, and bought our own equipment and volunteered as crossing guards. We got up early every morning and walked downtown and crossed the children and parents. We would take control over the drivers who were not following the law and in the school zone. During this time, we were met with defiance, and my wife was harassed so badly that by one mother that she finally had to quit because of the stress and stress. And even though she complained to the school, nothing was done. So then we requested that Clark County put in a crosswalk at the side of the school where there wasn't one.
Excuse me, Mr. Weber, what are the cross streets of Jacobson?
I don't know. I know it's Botex, and I don't know the cross streets.
Where's it? So is that Ward 1?
No, it's-
Ward 2?
Yeah, it's not Marjorie.
Okay, thank you. Please continue.
Oh, sure. We had somebody from the city come down to evaluate the crosswalk, and they saw us stopping traffic and said we couldn't do that because of the liability. We said, okay, fine. So we still kept doing it, and we kept walking out there, but we weren't stopping anybody. We were just walking the kids across and back, across and back.
First of all, let me thank you very much for your offer to help and understanding all of that. I'm going to make a recommendation that you make an appointment with Ward 2 Councilman Bob Beers, who will then follow up with our public works and with the school district and see what we can do to help, because certainly we are most concerned about the dangers everywhere throughout the city, and you've obviously pointed one out.
Well, unfortunately, I've talked to Mr. Beers' staff in depth, and they told me there's nothing they can do because of the laws and the way the city has set up their police department and everything else. We went to Metro. I tried to get them to help us. Metro said, we can't do it because we've contracted out the people that are in charge of the crossing guards to a place in California, which kind of struck me kind of strange. He's over there shaking his head, yes. Okay. We've called the city school district police, and their statement was, we don't want to write tickets, it takes 20 minutes to do it. My wife's called, my daughter's called, our friends have called, and nothing. We called Metro, and I said, we need some police down there to write tickets.
Okay, if you'll make an appointment with Councilman Beers, I will make sure that I find at that same time available, and we'll see what we can do, because obviously somebody has to be responsible and something done. So
Okay.
I appreciate your bringing this back. I will chat with Councilman Beers after our session today, and if you will call his office, unless, Councilman, you have anything to add here, please.
Familiar with the problem. Fellow standing up in the back there is John Bear. Wave, John. If you'll go talk to him, we'll set up a meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
And Madam
Thank you
Mayor,
for caring.
if I might interject, sir, and Councilman Beers, I think if you would contact Robin Munet on my staff, because she heads that Lookout, Kids About. We have been working with schools and with people in the school district, and I know that she knows the people involved in helping from the gut level up rather than from Metro and everything. So I would just make that recommendation to Councilman Beers. I think that'll help. I think she
Thank you.
knows contacts.
Thank
So
you.
if you'll see Mr. John Bear there at the door. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Mayor?
Yes,
On
Councilman.
Mr. Weber's
Crawford.
remarks, I don't think he understood we were in redevelopment agency and not in city council. And so I would, if a motion is necessary, I would move that we take Mr. Weber's remarks and insert them into the record for the council meeting, which is due to commence after redevelopment and after ceremonial.
All right. Well, this is public hearing, though, Councilman, so it's all right, and that's what he's done, even though the item wasn't on agenda. I think the main thing is to communicate the information. I appreciate what you've said.
Oh, yes,
But hopefully
yes.
we can solve this and move quickly.
Yeah,
So
okay,
the
it's
main
just lots
thing is-
easier to find in the record, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Mayor,
It's not necessary.
we can
Yes.
put a cross-reference under citizens' participation that is also heard under redevelopment.
Fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please see Mr. Bear, who will not move. Anyone else? Thank you very much. We will move on to agenda item 7. Agency member recognition. Comments made by individual agency members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the agency unless the subject's on the agenda scheduled for action. Is there any member of the redevelopment agency who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Are there any other comments? Okay, the redevelopment agency meeting is adjourned. We'll start our city council meeting